And you've been in the AL East, like everyone has said, for a long time. You've seen the Blue Jays be good, and then not so good, and then good again, and now not so good again going into this year. What do you expect? You talked about the playoffs. What about this team excites you, besides, of course, Vladdy, for the shot at getting back into the playoffs?
Yeah, of course, that's baseball. There's a lot of up and down. But I saw the Blue Jays. I saw there's big names in here. We got Bud, we got Vladdy, Springer, Berrios, Guzman. It's a big name that they have a lot of talents, a lot of experience. I think we just stay together, go play hard every single day as a teammate, like what we are, brothers. I think we're gonna be good because the talent is there.
All right, thank you.
Up next is Greg.
Hey, Anthony, Greg Strong from the Canadian Press. Just curious, what gives you confidence that the Blue Jays will be in a position to contend not only this season, but also 3, 4, 5 years down the road?
Like I told you, you see the names in the lineup and the roster. I mean, it's a guy with a lot of experiences and a lot of talents. I know you guys didn't make it to the playoffs last year, but 2022, 2023, the Blue Jays was in the playoffs. So it's a lot of playoffs contender right there. And playing against the Blue Jays, you can see, right? And of course, this is a game we're not going to win every game. We just have to have the right mentality to stay together and win game. Like I always say, in baseball, never the best team win, because in baseball, everything can happen. So I really believe that we have a really good team and we can put a lot of teams together and do a lot of damage in this division.
A quick question for Ross, if I could. Just curious, when it comes to free agency, how would you describe the hits and misses you've had this offseason as GM?
Thinking about the big hit we have today is where my focus is, and we're always focused on trying to make this team better. The additions of Andres Jimenez and Yimi Garcia and Jeff Hoffman and Nick Sandlin are also exciting. We'll continue to think about ways to make our team better, and feel like we've had some pretty big hits.
Thank you.
Up next is Rob.
Rob Longley from the Toronto Sun. First question for Ross. Ross, Anthony touched on it a little bit, but how dynamic can an offense be with Anthony in it as well as Vladdy, and how much does that sort of change what you guys can do at the plate?
Yeah, Anthony's about as good of a fit as we can find. So doing it from both sides of the plate, putting the ball in the seats at a very regular amount, his ability to do damage on a nightly basis is exactly what we were looking for, and a great addition to this lineup.
Understanding that you can't talk in specifics necessarily, but how important is it to continue the dialogue with Vladdy on an extension before spring training arrives?
Yeah, today's about Anthony, and glad to talk to you about that on another day.
Okay, a question for you, Anthony, as well. Obviously, your familiarity with the parks in the American League East is a plus. What do you like about hitting at the Rogers Center?
It's a good batting eyes, and then you can see the ball really good, especially with that renewed stuff that they did in the back of the side. It's good. The environment is great. The fans. So every time we play in a good environment, it's push you to always give 1,000%.
Was it a park you always enjoyed coming to with the Orioles? Was it a park you always enjoyed coming to when you were with the Orioles?
¿Parqueo?
No, un parque de pelota.
Un parque?
Sí.
Oh, Toronto was my favorite park.
Thank you.
We'll go to Mariano next.
Hola Anthony, mucho gusto, bienvenido a Toronto. Mariano Sánchez para el diario AS. Anthony, vienes de una temporada muy buena con 44 cuadrangulares y 102 impulsadas. ¿Qué ajustes fueron clave la temporada pasada para lograr esos números? ¿Y cómo te estás preparando para mantener esos números ahora con Toronto?
Just basically what kind of adjustments Anthony made last year in order for him to put the numbers he put last year, and also how he's preparing himself this offseason to continue the numbers to put the numbers that he put last year now with the Blue Jays.
Mira, creo que lo primero, lo más importante es mantenerse saludable, gracias a Dios, para poder estar disponible para jugar 150, 160 juegos. Y nada, con los ajustes, esto es un juego de ajustes, un ajuste que se hace todos los días. Así te vayas de 4-4, siempre hay algo que trabajar en la parte de la ofensiva. Y lo más importante es estar temprano en la recta, reconocer buenos picheos, no hacer tanto chase y tendremos que seguir trabajando en eso para ser un mejor bateador cada día.
I mean, you gotta stay. First thing, you gotta stay healthy. You gotta find a way to stay healthy in order for you to play 150, 160 game. And then adjustments. I mean, just something that you have to keep working on that every day, every at bat. I mean, every pitch. You gotta be. I mean, mentally and physically ready. So that's the type of preparation that I'm doing all this off season. I'm looking forward to continue that for next year.
We'll go to Fernando next.
Hola Anthony, bienvenido a Toronto. Quería primero pues, felicitarte por ese contrato de 5 años, igualmente a la gerencia. Mi pregunta para ti sería que teniendo ya 5 años de contrato en el equipo, ¿cómo eso va a afectar positivamente lo que quieres aportar, no tanto este año, sino también los siguientes? Y si ya has hablado con el coach de bateo de un posible trabajo para hacerte mejor fit para el estadio acá en Toronto.
I mean, basically, obviously, after signing the 5-year deal, I mean, how are you gonna pretty much approach that on through the 5 years, not just this year? And if you have talked to our new Popkin, our new hitting coach, and if you have a plan whenever it's a time to talk, if you did talk to him or if you're going to, what's the plan on you for this year and the rest of the years?
No he hablado con él todavía. Estos últimos días ha sido bastante full. En su oportunidad me sentaré con él para discutir todo ese tipo de cosas que tenemos que trabajar. Y con respecto a los otros, pues, mira, seguir trabajando, seguir preparándome, seguir mejorando en mi trabajo día a día, teniendo la misma disciplina, la misma constancia, misma ética de trabajo para poder mantenerme saludable y seguir mejorando como pelotero, que esa es la clave al final del día.
I mean, in terms of the hitting coach, I haven't talked with Popkins yet. It's been, I mean, the last couple of days have been, been full schedule for me. So, but when at some point I will be calling him or sitting down with him, talking to him about our plan for this year and for the next years also.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
We'll go back to Shy.
Hey Russ, just with Santander under contract now, I'm just wondering how does that impact both in terms of from a financial perspective, positional perspective, what else you're trying to accomplish in the market?
Yeah, I mean we feel like we've got a lot of work done this offseason, the additions I just mentioned previously, and we of course will continue to try to add to this team if there's a way to do it, and we'll present those opportunities to Edward and Tony as we have a pretty good understanding of what is there, what is available to us, and as they become more real, that we'll present those and hopefully have avenues to improve our team.
What impact, if any, does taking on Miles Straw's contract have on your future pursuits?
Zero impact, and only positive impact.
Okay. And Anthony, just one more question for you. Ross mentioned before that deferred money is a good tool for a team kind of managing things. For you, what's attractive about having deferred money in your contract?
like Ross say, is give the opportunity to build a good team around. Because pretty much that's it, I think. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a contract, right?
Sure. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Shai.
And we'll go back to Ben.
Ross, with Anthony now on the roster in the fold for you guys, if you were to add to your position player group, where would you look to add?
We're in a really good position with the acquisitions we made at the deadline last year. I could rattle off 6 or 7 names that will be in the mix for maybe competing with another free agent, maybe competing with another acquisition via trade, but there's a good group that will be competing for at-bats to start the regular season, some of which had some success with us last year that will be squarely in the mix. But our major league 40-man roster, our 26-man roster, we feel like are in a really strong position. Our AAA team is going to be at every position have a prospect and rising major league player at it, which is rare to have. Excited about some of the additions that we've made to our rotation and in AAA and the depth that we have there as well. But we'll continue to look to make our organization better and feel like we don't have to in one specific area.
Right. And then on the pitching side, you mentioned the rotation there. Is there room in your mind to potentially add a major league starting pitcher, even though you have 5 guys on paper? Is there room in your mind to add someone else and make things deeper?
Yeah, and it's just a matter of opportunity cost. So as you weigh that, whether via trade or free agency, how does that impact the rest of your roster, and what did you not acquire by making that move? So, but absolutely room to do so. And all of our pitchers understand how competitive the environment is. We've been in one every spring training for the past 5 years and plan on remaining one for the years to come, where you're coming in and there are guys like Anthony that know exactly what the season is going to, well, not exactly, but have a really good understanding of what their playing time will be. But others understand that they have to be flexible and compete.
Makes sense.
And we'll go to Matt next.
Matt Betts, Canadian Baseball Network. Thank you both for doing this. Question for Ross. When it comes to the contract, deferrals, opt-outs, those sort of things, at what point did those things get brought up during the process? And is that something, a strategy you plan on using going forward as the offseason continues?
Every situation's different. I can't remember the specific date to when we brought up certain aspects, but we had really good communication, a lot of open-mindedness both ways. I certainly feel you hope you felt that way, Danny, but I certainly did. That it was a lot of work. There was a lot of time spent on making sure we got it right for Anthony, and that it made sense for both of us.
Okay, and we'll go to Hazel next.
Hi, Anthony. Hazel May with Sportsnet. Congratulations on your deal.
Thank you.
You mentioned Victor Martinez earlier. Was there something in your conversation with him that really stood out, whether it be something he said about the team, the city, the organization, the ballpark, anything that really stood out to you?
¿Qué stood out?
Algo, ahorita mencionaste que en la conversación con Víctor Martínez, ¿hubo algo que en realidad te llamó la atención?
Llamó la atención. Esa fue la palabrita que no entendí. Gracias. I think we talk a lot during the season. Of course, every time he go to Toronto to see the guys. At one point, I was there, and then we got together. We got a lot of talking. He was gonna give me the idea how the organization is, how they take care of the players, and then how good the facility are to be able to prepare yourself for a game, all that stuff. Of course, it was a lot of conversation who put me in an easy position to make a decision to be in a Blue Jay.
And in your conversations with Vladdy and other people in the organization, what sort of questions did you want answered? What did you want to know?
I think the most thing is how the team is when we talk about being together for the 8 months, because I mean it's like a family. We spend a lot of time together, and pretty much like how is the clubhouse look in the inside.
And sorry, what were you told about the clubhouse on the inside? Were you satisfied with what you heard?
Oh, they're good. They are good teammates. They take care of each other, and then that's what we need.
Thank you. And Ross, quickly for you, just jumping off what Ben had said, if you were to go into spring training with the current group you have now, without making any further moves, how satisfied would you be about your off-season?
Yeah, feel we're in a really strong position, but we'll continue to work to see if there are ways to improve our roster.
Is there anything impending right now? Anything you're close to as far as any moves?
The way I always view it is you're never close until you're done, because something could always change or set you back, but we're working around the clock and won't stop.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll go back to Mike.
Thanks, Simon. Ross, Anthony has told us that he'll play all over the field. Is there a spot that you have in mind, or at least a breakdown of how often you'd like to see him where?
No, I think the ability to play left and right and first, and the openness to DH is where we need to be, and then Schneids and Anthony will work through that together as spring training and the season unfold.
And for Anthony, just looking at your numbers hitting in Rogers Center, you've hit all your home runs there in the last 2 years, and 90% of your extra base hits there in the last 2 years. You talked about how the hitting background changed a couple of years ago. Is that the difference, or is it just how much you've changed as a hitter over the last little while?
Probably both, but like I mentioned earlier, I mean, the part eyes look better for me. Of course, everybody is different, and the last 2 years I'm able to see the ball great in there. And then, yeah, it's a combination, right?
Okay, thanks.
And we'll go back to Isbelia.
Thanks. Anthony, por tu grandiosa temporada 2024, definitivamente tuviste reconocimientos muy importantes en Venezuela. El premio Luis Aparicio, ser el atleta del año en nuestro país. Ahora te ves repitiendo estos reconocimientos de la mano de los Blue Jays. ¿Y qué tan importante, qué tan especiales fueron para ti estos dos premios que ganaste en Venezuela?
Basically, after the great season that Anthony had last year, I mean, back in Venezuela, he was awarded with the Luis Aparicio award, and also he gets award again on signing here with the Blue Jays. Talk to us about that.
Te faltó una. Dale. No, mira, de verdad que muy contento y agradecido con Dios por todos esos premios, toda la gloria para Él, porque sin Él no somos nada. Creo que ha sido una bendición gracias a todo el trabajo que he puesto los últimos años, y muy contento de haber recibido estos reconocimientos.
I mean, first of all, thanks to God. I mean, without Him, I couldn't be able to do this, and of course, I mean, all those blessings for all the hard work that I've been putting all these years. I mean, without that, I couldn't be here right now.
¿Cómo fue la reacción de la familia ahora que se enteraron que Toronto va a ser su nueva casa?
That was the reaction of the family now that they find out that there are Blue Jays.
Contenta, llena de alegría, de emoción. Ya mi papá como que sabía que yo iba a firmar aquí, porque lo dijo público en el Luis Aparicio. Que le preguntaron, ¿para dónde quieres ir? Dijo Toronto de una vez. Está más contento.
Very happy, very emotional. My mom, my dad, especially my dad, he kind of knew it already, and he's super happy on that.
Gracias, Anthony. Éxitos.
much.
Okay.